All right, and welcome back to a Halloween-themed episode that we promised last week.
Spooktacular.
Yes, very spooky. I am here with my co-host, as always, Ogarth, and we are back this week to break down what was, at least from a football standpoint, not a great weekend, but it was a weekend nonetheless. And there definitely was a lot to talk about and a lot of other events that were pretty big that went on this week. But first, we will take it, since we do have our Halloween costumes on, just as a reminder to all our viewers out there, just to make sure it's a safe Halloween. You can have a ton of fun this Halloween, but make sure it's a safe one, because especially with a lot of people being a little politically charged lately, a lot of people are taking it overboard. We can just look around on social media and see all of that. So just remember to keep it safe. Have fun, but keep it safe.
Yeah, don't go find the Hillary voters and don't go find the Trump voters.
Yeah, don't even. And there is other political stuff, not divisive political stuff that we'll talk about. That was a UCF event for later this year. And so I can hear myself, and I'm not as bad. I will lift up the mask for the rest of the episode. And as we talked about, we will break down a disappointing. Is that an okay word to describe the UCF game this weekend for football?
I think we need something a little deeper than disappointing.
I can't say anything appropriately without. It was disappointing, very disappointing. It was a lot of thoughts of what could have been, to put it lightly, for this game, as the Knights did lose to the Houston Cougars. And it was, unfortunately, a close finish for the Knights. It ended in a loss of what probably shouldn't have been. For anyone that did watch the game, they did notice that the Knights were up 21-3 at halftime.
It got up to 24-3, coming right out
because the defense did a fantastic job of forcing a lot of turnovers on Houston.
Yeah, but UCF also had their share of turnovers.
In the second half, which did end up being, what was the difference in the first half for Houston making all those mistakes was the difference for UCF in the second with making their mistakes as well, which was very unfortunate because it spoiled what could have been, I think, a very special, resurgence day for the Knights. Just kind of hey, we're back.
It was our AAC chance to rule the whole conference. And
I live tweeted the game for the most part of when I wasn't frustrated for the second half. I did tweet about it. Was that it kind of they had realistic AAC title hopes.
It was all there. They came out to a booming start.
Yeah.
People were thinking, even Houston's head coach, they were wondering, will he be fired? Did he turn the program around, or did they just turn themselves around after 2 losses? But with the comeback win, it just adds reassurance.
Yeah, and it was interesting because there was a storyline throughout the game, as you did say, with the coach that he would actually go somewhere else.
Yeah, they were will his job still be open?
Yeah.
But now it just shows
there's questions we don't have to ask. We don't get to ask.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, because of this. And the biggest thing, and we talked about this last week, was the big point for Milton and why we won last week was the big reason why we lost this week. Turnovers absolutely killed the Knights in this game, with a fumble from Hamilton and then 2 interceptions from Milton.
Yeah, if you watch the game, you can see he threw 2 interceptions. Also, he took big sacks.
Yes, very, very, very bad
20-plus yard sacks. That's unreal.
You just can't do that, especially in a game where the defense is doing such a great job. It's the issue that keeps coming up is that the defense keeps getting hung out to dry.
Yeah.
And they did, honestly, for the most part, to say a 31-point game for a defense against a high-powered offense like Houston, that's not a horrible job, especially considering they scored that last touchdown to go over 24 points pretty late in the game to pull away. And I think the defense helped Houston get back into the game in the second half, but the offense secured that Houston could definitely get back, and it was through those turnovers.
Yeah, we saw Milton fumble and throw away our hopes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was, and it was very frustrating. And a lot of stuff that a lot of these media outlets, national media outlets, are like, oh, well, I mean, they're working their way back. Look at it last year. They had no wins. It was 0-12. To see that they're at 4-4, it's a pretty good job for a first-year head coach to be able to come in and have just this much of a change already. But it is unfortunate that it wasn't there because they didn't finish, because it definitely was there to be taken, that win.
I mean, through the whole outlook, Give me one offensive player that you still like to watch this whole game.
That I still like to watch is someone I've talked about before, which is Traquan Smith, which they did what we talked about the other week, was that get him the ball. He had 13 catches, which I believe is a career high, they did say, for 137 yards. It was a great game for him, and he was very reliable, as he normally is. He made a lot of great catches. And he was the one bright spot. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think a lot of offensive players had very good games. Killens did have a touchdown, which was off of a nice play by Milton in the first quarter. That was taking advantage of an early Houston turnover. But I don't know. I think Killens, he's got to work on being a little bit more consistent, and a little more than just a speed guy on the outside.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of these guys where if they're a one-trick pony in that sense, start to be a little limited because teams are like, well, hey, if we just stop him from getting to the outside and getting some space, then we're gonna have him figured out. He's got to be a little more shifty, and he's got to understand that he's got to get forward. He can't dance as much, even though he is fast. He's got to get down there, and that was something that all the running backs kind of had a hard time with because a couple of the guys that are like our bruisers just need to be hitting the line of scrimmage and going.
I mean, Hamilton had one nice run.
He did. Yes, the touchdown was a nice run. And what would have helped more was that Houston was just selling out for the run.
Oh, yeah.
And blitzing, where if Milton would be able to take advantage a little bit more of completing some of these passes under pressure or being able to have quick outlets to get to guys, then it could have been able to keep the Houston defense on their heels, especially in the second half where they started to kind of tee off on the offense towards the end.
Yeah. They sent an all-out blitz come third, fourth quarter. All they did, all-out blitz.
And for the last, we can call it 29 minutes of the game, it was all Houston. I mean, it says that we did get a field goal in the second half, but it was right at the beginning.
Yeah, that was the opening.
Like the first play Houston had, they fumbled it, and we recovered it, and then we had 3 straight plays, and then we kicked the field goal. So then after that, the offense did absolutely nothing. You said something of like,
yeah, they went negative 59 rushing yards after the half.
You can't do that. Just can't do that in a game, especially against a quality opponent in Houston, and expect to win.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't. Like it's not acceptable, and it's just concerning. But I mean, it's a young team, and they gotta figure it out. But this one hurt a little bit, to be honest.
I mean, looking at all the bad, you can't say there was good coming out from the defensive side. As you can see, Greg Ward Jr., his Heisman hopes, he had 3 interceptions.
Yes,
so
the defense, I was impressed. I will say, on the back end for the secondary they've gotten a lot of hype. I don't think they've deserved it, to be honest. But this game, they did a really good job. They were in good spots, and they were able to take advantage of some bad throws by Greg Ward Jr. And it was the fuel that was able to get those plays. But I think they need to continue to step up because that's the first game this season where I've been like, wow, they actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
A lot of other times, I think that they've been a little bit more of a liability than a lot of people want to lead on. But I think that this was a good game to show, like, hey, they can contribute to getting turnovers to kind of lead to giving the offense more chances, which the defense has done. It's just the front seven just can't get tired, and they got to wrap up. Arm tackles was the story of the day for the defense. The defensive line did a very good job of creating a pass rush in the first half. The second half, they got tired and it kind of disappeared, but they did a very good job stopping the run, which is something that Houston likes to do a lot. But this isn't something that the Knights should dwell on much longer. Really, even they should be kind of done with it today already. And they should be looking forward to another AAC game, which will be the makeup with Tulane. That will be on this Saturday. And as a reminder for fans to come out to the game and be armored in black, to wear black. The whole stadium is blackout.
Yeah, if you guys don't remember, there was a postponed game that happened due to the hurricanes. So this is just the makeup of it.
Yep. But the nice thing is I said this before, is that we just get to play the rest of the season out. So we kind of got that weekend where it was awful for all of us. We're able to get we get that weekend off of football, but then okay, now we get the Knights the rest of the way out. But there were other games that did go on, and you have the scoreboard of stuff that happened.
Yeah, when we look to women's soccer, we can see they took a loss to Memphis in extra time with a goal in the 100th minute.
Oh, goodness.
So that one hurt. Also, it's a hurtful weekend. Oh. And then they look again, Wednesday, men's soccer lost to FIU down in Miami 2-0. And then men's soccer played again on the 29th versus Temple, where they took a 2-0 0 loss also.
But it wasn't a weekend of losses entirely. We did have track and field cross countries, Anne-Marie Blaney winning the American Athletic Conference individual title to give us 6 points in the war on I-4 to now increase our lead over USF at 12-9. So there was a W this weekend. There was.
We can look forward to something.
Yes, there is that. But definitely make sure to go check out the game this weekend. Be a good fan because the Knights are going to need you there. Need that home environment to be able to
all the people
bounce back.
Can get.
Yep, bounce back against Tulane and get 2 more wins to be bowl eligible.
Most definitely.
And then for our UCF event coverage for this week, there was one major event that did happen as President Barack Obama did come to the CFE Arena to speak to, it was open to the public, it was all of Central Florida, in support of presidential Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. And it was pretty awesome as to no matter who you're voting for, who you support, or whatever you think for this election, I think it was very cool that a current sitting president was able to come to this university and speak. And I think it's awesome from a national standpoint that he was able to come. And I kind of spoke with Leland about this because he was able to get in there and get pictures with our name, by the way. He used our name to get in. So, I mean, take that
Make sure to check out his video also.
Yes, he did an awesome video of it, which we'll put the link in the description, and also to go to, I'll have it under the events playlist on our channel, so you can see all the other past videos and future videos to come when we cover awesome events. And it just was cool that Barack Obama was here. I mean, that's awesome.
The sitting president chose to come to UCF.
Yeah, that's like something really cool.
If he would have said charge on, my life would be made.
That would have been cool. But I just think from a national standpoint, we had a really not great summer nationally, arguably with the Pulse shooting and whatnot. Yeah. To still think that they would still come here in that sense, because this place is forever going to have that blemish. Orlando will, of just that goodness. That was where this happened, so we kind of have to have that little extra security. And some places may not even want to deal with it. But thankfully, this is a college campus, and college voters are a big part of the demographic. I mean, at least if they got everyone related to UCF, it'd be 60,000 plus students, at least aware that they need to vote, and that's something that's important in any election, is to get out and vote. And to briefly transition into that, just to kind of say, if you're not sure where your voting precinct is, look it up online, find out, because there is early voting. I will be doing that next weekend when I'm out of town for my sister's birthday.
But at all these rallies, no matter what, there's always a protest.
Yeah, there's always for something as huge as a sitting president coming through, you're gonna get interesting people. You're gonna get the crazies in that sense, and it's interesting to see, because a lot of countries that those people could be out there will be out there, but a lot of not good stuff could happen to them. Yeah. So it is interesting to see that during this time is so huge with being able to have a peaceful transition of who is running the government every 4 years, that even though I call them crazies, that you get a lot of interesting people out there that voicing their opinion of what they truly believe in. Yeah. The thing is that these presidential nominees, or anyone who's trying to get into office, Senate, House of Representatives, like Florida, if we have anyone up for that, like Mosquito Patrol, they have to somehow appeal to these people to be able to get them to vote for them. Though Mosquito Patrol, I'm going to see if Skeeter Williams is on that or something like that. His name was Skeeter. And I was like, listen, you were destined for this job.
Yeah, that's the best job. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, Skeeter, I was
if
like...
If you have Mosquito Patrol, you have to have Skeeter.
I was very disappointed I couldn't vote 2 years ago to be able to vote for Skeeter. But if he's on the ballot this year, I will vote. But besides the point, but it's just that these people have to sell to these people. They have to be like, hey, vote for me. And it's just very, very historical and interesting time to be in, especially on a campus like UCF that is filled with such a diverse population of people.
If you went around campus at all, you could see the traffic and all the cop cars. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it was not a fun time to be around UCF driving.
Yeah.
And there were even long lines to be able to get into the arena also. It was nuts. Like, I think some people, I wasn't this far back, but it was all the way back to like Northview.
Yeah, no,
that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
That's way. I don't know if I'd be that patient being that far out, but they let a lot of people in, and it just all of it, like, it just was a very amazing event, and we do have video coverage of it that definitely you should check out on our channel.
So make sure you check that out.
Yes, the link will be in the the description. Yes, the subscription, which you should subscribe to our channel anyways. That should be a prerequisite for watching.
Okay. 2016.
Then our picks for this past week, unfortunately, did not go as they should have.
Another W.
Arguably say. Another W for Ogarth to
all he takes is L's.
Increase the current total. Listen, I took a lot of L's this weekend. The Knights, the Bucks. I mean, Liverpool won, but then the Lightning had a bad weekend, so it just wasn't a fun weekend sports-wise for James. But there were a lot of exciting games. Briefly, we'll talk about one that changed. It was a big landscape changer for the AAC was USF and Navy, which we'll briefly get into. Was that USF was up 45-17 at halftime, but only won 52-45. So Navy roared back. Yeah. But it was a big win for USF that will get them some national attention, which unfortunately it has to be USF, but it does get our conference some national recognition because Navy was ranked number 22.
Yeah. And stability, that puts USF right on top.
Yes, USF is now in the driver's seat for the East to be able to have a berth in the AAC championship game. But we'll see. There's still a lot of games left to play. Our picks for this week, the first game, which we both picked the same, was Washington and Utah, which had Washington dominantly winning 31-24 over Utah.
It got to a close one, and then in the end, Washington returned a punt. That's what it was.
Yeah, Browning's been a pretty good quarterback for him, though. It's interesting because we said this before. It's interesting with these players out on the West Coast. They don't get as much notoriety and like some media hype because even for Mariota. When he won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Mariota out of Oregon, he was having video game numbers.
Yeah.
And it was almost close for him not to win the Heisman. So it's an interesting to see that the effect of being out there on the West Coast, but can do that. But Washington, it is showing in the rankings now that they are number 4.
Even McCaffrey, everyone forgot about him.
Yeah, and he actually scored on the road.
Yeah.
He scored on the road this week. It was awesome. Our other game, which was this is the biggest game this weekend, was Nebraska and Wisconsin, which was a Big Ten tilt, which ended with Wisconsin beating Nebraska 23-17, which was the game that was the difference for us.
Another W.
Which Wisconsin just keeps adding to their resume of being up there at the end of the year. Because just all they need to do, they need to win out and win the Big Ten championship, and that's a college football playoff berth because of the teams that they have lost to and then will have beaten because they'll end up being able to avenge one of the losses in the Big Ten championship game to either Ohio State or Michigan. So it'll be interesting to see, but that was a pretty exciting game. But what was the national centerpiece for this weekend was Clemson and Florida State. You were actually at this game.
Yeah, I actually went to the game. It was amazing. Florida State almost had it, but then Clemson
pulled it out 37-34 at the end. That's a big win for them at Florida State too. I don't think they've won there in forever.
Yeah, no, they haven't won there since like the 90s, I believe.
Oh, goodness. Because it was big last year that they were able to beat Florida State because that was kind of like the monkey they had to get off their back in that sense to be able to go on to win the ACC and whatnot. And this was a big one, not necessarily to be like, I don't know, to prove they could beat Florida State, but to be able to go in there and win.
Yeah.
That it's hard for any team to do, no matter what Florida State team you're getting. That good for Clemson. I did not get to see this game. I was unfortunately working, but it did look like it was a pretty exciting game. It looked like it had a hell of a finish.
Yeah, most definitely. It was hype even after the loss. So
really, that's good. That's good. I would imagine there's no limit of partying at Florida State. Hey, they gotta enjoy wins and losses. But we'll move on to next week. We'll move forward as the Knights should move forward. I will move forward from this horrible weekend of picks.
The Bucks should move forward too.
Oh goodness, the Bucks. No, we'll have happier thoughts. The Gators are playing Arkansas in what will be a big SEC game to see if the Gators can hold on to their new ranking.
Go for the Gators. So I'm going.
You're going Gators?
No, I said I will never go for the Gators. So I will go Arkansas.
You go Arkansas?
I will go Arkansas.
For the sake of winning, I'm going to take the Gators, even though it's in my mouth. The Gators. But they do have a very good defense with a very talented secondary that I think will be able to enforce their will upon Arkansas. Now, whether or not Florida continues after that to do anything in the SEC, they still have to beat Alabama. But we'll see. We'll see.
Just get that thought out your mind.
Oh, I know.
Just throw it out.
But there is another. I love that the Big Ten this year has probably had some of the most exciting matchups for at least ranked teams in that sense. And there is another one this weekend with Nebraska. After following up this big game against Wisconsin, will now be playing Ohio State.
They're gonna lose 2 in a row. Go Buckeyes.
Northwestern, and who was it before that? Penn State. I'm going to go Nebraska again. They're going to get it for me this weekend. I think they'll be able to do it, and it should be big for Nebraska. I think they'll be able to do it. I think
he enjoys losing.
I don't think that I think Ohio State has been a little too like just letting crappy teams into games, and I don't think that is good.
It's a slow start but a good finish.
That's not going to fly against good teams. And Nebraska isn't a bad team, but they are getting into the better teams on their schedule. We'll see. And then I already know what I'm picking this way for this game, but it is a big game this weekend. It is Alabama LSU.
Alabama.
I'm going to go Alabama as well. I can't see picking against Alabama.
Yeah.
They've continued their tear, and they're coming off a bye week.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, but I think they are going to Baton Rouge though, so we'll see. And for all these games, if you have any opinion, you think that, James, you're totally wrong. Ogarth, you're totally wrong.
You're totally
definitely
right.
wrong. Then
Ogarth, you're going to keep winning?
Tweet at us with our Twitters.
Right here.
The handles. And talk with us. Speak with us about the games. If you want to complain with me about the Knights game, we can do that. We can cheer about the Knights game, hopefully next weekend. We can do that. We can talk. I tweet a lot of NFL stuff as well. We can talk about that. And even a little bit of other sports in between. I've been watching the World Series a little bit too, so I'll probably be talking about that. There's a big game tonight. Maybe if there's even a World Series to talk about tomorrow. I don't know. Hopefully there's a World Series to talk about tomorrow, but we'll see. But if there's any conversation you guys want to have about this stuff, please reach out to us and hope that James will get to 4-3 next week.
Speaking on MLB, go Philly.
Go Philly. Philly? Go Philly? What is Philly? Philly's not even in the World Series.
It's still good. It's always.
Whatever.
It's always go Philly.
Whatever. Okay. All right. And before we get out of here today, we will do our final quotes. If you would like to, do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
All right, I'll go first. I have an Oscar Wilde quote. One very literary and serious. I can resist everything except temptation.
That's deep.
It is deep. It is deep.
And my quote goes to the protester in the stands. If you're crazy and you know it, take your meds.
It's all words we should live by. And as always, follow us on Twitter, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, repeat, just on all of our videos. Please subscribe and you'll be able to see and hear about our content first on our YouTube channel, which is always really good because we are having a bunch of different videos we'll be posting that are not just necessarily regular episodes. Yeah. So definitely get in on it. Follow us on social media.
And most importantly, charge on.
That's been another episode of the Jimmy T Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Charge on.
Have a safe Halloween.